Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. We got a pretty cool build today. What we have here is a Cockney cab. Now, I had done one of these in the past, and this car is pretty much identical. The difference between this build and the build I had done before is that with this car, the subscriber wants to do a complete color change. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this bad boy apart, we're going to strip it down, and we're going to set everything up for a complete color change. So I guess you could call this a Restomod, but it's basically a restoration. Now the other thing, the subscriber does not want the British flag decal put on the back of the car. So there it is. Let's go ahead and grab your favorite adult beverage and get started with the build. Here I've got the post drilled out. Now this car here only has one post, and that's in the very front of the car. The back of the car is held on by a little clip. Let's go ahead and check this out. The body's in pretty good shape overall, but we're going to go ahead and clean it up and sand it down and brighten it up. We're going to use the 1-72 screws because the post on there is very narrow. The base needs to be cleaned up for sure. Here's the wheel package. We'll get that fixed up and cleaned up. Interior's in excellent shape. We'll clean it up with some soap and water. Very nice. Now here's the engine. The engine sits off by itself and it's all completely loose. You have to feed the headlights up through the fender wells and then back in order to get the engine in and out. So that's a pretty unique feature to this car here. But we'll polish that up and make it look really good. Here's the glass. That looks like it's in fairly good shape, so we'll clean that up. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step. Here I've got the body and we're going to put it in the embalming fluid. Since we're doing a complete color change, let's go ahead and make sure that the inside of the car has got paint stripper on there also. Knock off your excess and then put it on a tray so you can see it. That's cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
Here I've got the car. Now I said in past posts here that I like to use these containers to put the parts of the car in. This way here, I don't lose anything, and I know at a moment's glance where the parts are. Put them in a container, save them, don't lose them, and then you'll thank me later on. And there's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. Now we're going to use the flits. Let's go in and polish up the body. I used some sanding abrasive wheels to take off the oxidation as best I could. Now go into the comments and there's a link there for Uncle Paulie. If you go to the Flits website, go to this particular code, this website here, and when you go to checkout, enter the code Graveyard. You'll get 20% off of all Flits products that you order off this website. So go into the comments, load up that link, and go to Flits, and they will give you 20% off of anything you buy. What a great deal from the folks at Flits for an exclusive offer from Diecast Graveyard. That's absolutely fantastic. I've sped this up here. The product works fantastic, not only on the metal, folks, but it also works great on windshields. Just use a cloth buffing wheel and slow it down because you don't want to burn it or melt it. That's looking great. Let's move on. That's looking sweet. Now we'll get back in with the degreaser, clean it all up, and get it ready for paint. Okay, like I said, the subscriber wanted to change the color from a green, and here we're going to use hot pink. Spectre Flame hot pink that I got from the Redline shop. Now, with these lighter colors like the hot pink and the antifreeze and the ice blue, etc., you got to be careful when you're putting your paint down because the color is so light, sometimes it's hard to see. So take your time, don't put it on too heavy, put it on with the mist coats, and you'll have a great finish. Check out the Redline shop for all the Spectre Flame paints that they have. They also got a really great line of decals, and of course, those replacement tires for your Redline restorations. So check out the Redline shop. Here I'm putting down a mist coat of this hot pink. If you follow the directions on the bottle, you'll have a fantastic finish every time, as long as you don't spray it on too thick initially. Get the mist coats on, let them dry for about 15 minutes in between coats, and then come back in and hit it with your saturation coats. But again, folks, please be careful. If you listen to what I'm telling you here, your fantastic paint jobs will completely blow you away, and if you're doing it for someone else, it'll blow them away too. This is turning out real nice. Let's let this set for a while and get back to it.
Someone is being exhumed.
Now we're going to fix the wheels. Try and straighten out that base a little bit, but be careful because if you bend it too much, it will crack because over time, these things tend to get super brittle. So be careful with that. Well, that's not sticking very good, is it? Guess I'll have to get some more tape. Well, it's a little bit better. Wheels in the front look good. This one here we're going to have to glue back in place because it fell out of the plastic support that holds it. The axle was bent up pretty bad, so we'll do the best we can with it. You could technically replace the axle and put those cap style wheels back on. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. Try and straighten that out a little bit with these pliers. When stuff is this bad, when you're doing an old red line like this, you just have to do the best you can. Center it up. Get some glue on there. That's looking good. I like to use the gel type super glue because it doesn't flow all over the place. Now if you happen to use the liquid glue, just be careful because the capillary action will make the glue travel down the axles and it will glue your wheels in place. So be careful of that. This is why I use the gel type glue when it comes to things like this because it tends to stay in place better. Alright, let's go ahead and glue the base that holds the wheels back in. I'm using some super glue here. Be careful around your tires because the super glue tends to give off fumes, and when it does that, it puts a white mist or coat on the tires. Okay, so be careful around your tires. It tends to put the fumes on there, and it's really hard to get off. So be careful with that. Let's let that set for a bit and then we'll move on. Okay, here's where we're going to put on the new cap style wheels that I got from the Redline shop. We got 2 large meats for the back and we got 2 medium meats for the front. Usually they will snap right in place. That's looking good. You may have to adjust the axles just a little bit. Now let's go ahead and work on the glass. Here I'm taking some sandpaper and I'm smoothing out some of the rough edges on there, trying to get some of the scratches out of there. Now you could do this as wet sanding, etc. And once we do that and we buff it out, then we're going to coat it up with the gauzy, or sometimes I like to use Pledge Revive. But lately, with the flits, if you buff it with the flits polish, you don't need that stuff. So it'll cut out a step for you. It'll just take a little bit of practice to get it the way you want to. Just use the fine sandpaper, because if you use the heavy stuff, you're going to go ahead and scratch that windshield, and it's going to take a lot of work to get it smooth enough to be able to buff it out and make it look good, or use the gauzy or the Pledge Revive or whatever you're going to use. Okay, so just stick with the fine sandpapers if you can help it. Looking great. Alright, here we're going to use the gauzy. I've already mixed it up. Grab it if you can in a place that's not going to be touched by your fingers or anything. And what I mean by that is grab it in a place where you're not going to leave any marks in it once the gauzy dries. Go ahead and let the excess drip off, and then whatever you got left, touch it to a paper towel and try and draw it off the plastic. This step is called wicking. Had a small hair on there that I found. Alright. We'll also use the flits to polish up the engine, and that looks fantastic. That's going to look good when we put the car back together. Now here we have all of our pieces. We got the body. Beautiful hot pink Spectre Flame paint. That looks fantastic. Here's the base, all polished up. We got brand new meats all the way around from the Redline shop. That looks fantastic. Here's the engine, all polished up and ready to go. Here's the interior, scrubbed up and cleaned. And here's the windshield done with the gauzy. Let's put it together and have our reveal. And here's what we started with. A Hot Wheels Redline Cockney cab. This is a hard car to find, especially in good shape. It came out in the early 70s, and there was a time when these cars were being made where bodies, bases, etc. actually fell apart. And these cars were nicknamed the Crumblers. Okay? So if you can find one in fairly good shape, consider yourself extremely lucky. These are really nice cars, but to find one in decent shape, or at least restorable shape, is very hard to do. We took it apart. We evaluated what we had. We did an autopsy. We checked everything we had. We realized that we had to do some repairs on the wheels. The windshield, we did the best we could with it. There are some microscopic cracks in there, but these are hard to find replacements for, so we used what we had. And here's how it came out. Look at how nice this restoration or Restomod came out. The hot pink paint is fantastic, and this is what the subscriber wanted. But he also said to me, please don't put the decal on the back. I don't want it on there. Not a problem. You're the boss, okay? So we did what the customer wanted. We cleaned it up, we polished it up, we painted it with beautiful Spectre Flame paint from the Redline shop. We used wheels from the Redline shop, and we polished it all up with polish from Flits. This turned out fantastic. Now, if you're looking to have something restored, or something that you would like to have done for you, contact me in the comments. I read every single comment. Now, if you're looking to donate some cars and you want to send me a box of cars, I'll do an unboxing video and giving you full credit, of course. I could always use cars to do my videos for, so please check it out. All right? What a fantastic day. This was a great build. Thank you for joining me here today in Diecast Graveyard. I've got my new website coming out here soon, www.diecastgraveyard.com. You'll be able to buy some of my customs that I make. My name is Paul of Diecast Graveyard. Thank you for joining me here today, and cheers.